Good morning, Flosstube. It is Sunday, the 18th of February 2024. I'm Sarah and you are very welcome to my little corner of YouTube, Sew Me Sarah, where I talk all about cross-stitching and whatever other needle arts or things that pop into my head as we go along. Thank you so much to those of you who return faithfully, who support this channel, who engage in the comments and make this the fulfilling and rewarding experience that it really has become in my life. Thank you so much to all of you. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider joining and becoming part of that. Subscribe so that you don't miss what's coming up next. But sit back and relax today, and hopefully that you are also a stitcher and stitching along, enjoying what I have to share today. Since the last time that we met, not a huge amount has been happening of any significance. It has been half term this week, so not much gets done in half term. I have no quilting to show this week, no patchwork. Yeah, half term takes its toll. But we have had a good half term and we're all ready for school to start again tomorrow. Oh yes, we are. As you can see, there's another little touch of spring in my daffodil vase over here. I love it when you can buy daffodils in the shops again at this time of the year. And occasionally we have a glimpse of blue sky. So spring is coming. I'm determined spring is coming. And I'm looking forward to my daffodils, just bringing another little pop of bright colour. My tulips were very popular last time, so thank you all for your comments on the tulips. I still have some of my smalls up for Valentine's Day. There are some on the other side of the daffodils on the dresser as well. And they'll stay up until March when I'll change it to a spring kind of look there. Anyway, that's really about all I need to waffle about today. I think we should just head straight on in to the stitching. I have FFOs to share and I'm so pleased with myself. I've got a smug grin. I took the head staggers, as we would say. On Friday, I wasn't working and I was at home, and Charlotte and I were doing painting, and she was quite content for a change to work through her paintings by herself, and I sat at the other end of the table and I cut mount board and mat board for various finishes. So I was really pleased that we had a little crafty morning. That doesn't happen very often because her attention span doesn't really hold out, but she was great on Friday and I got a lot of progress, which meant that because I made the start, I kept going and finished them up on Friday night and into Saturday as well. So let me show you these finishes that I'm talking about. First of all, I got a frame and I framed Positivity Lifts. Oh, there's the ring light. I'm sorry for all the reflections because I do have glass in this, but this is Positivity Lifts, which was a finish last year. It was a caterpillar cross stitch along, and I enjoyed every stitch of this one. I love the colors, I love obviously the positivity. I love stitching words and fonts, as you know. So this is Positivity Lifts, and the pattern is available on the website. I'm sure you can probably get a kit as well. I didn't check, sorry, I should have. But the pattern is available on the Caterpillar Cross Stitch website if you would like to stitch this yourself. I just got a standard white frame from the range, and I laced this piece and I framed it, and I'm going to hang it in Charlotte's bedroom. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm sorry about the glare, the reflections that you can see. But I'm really chuffed that this one is finished. And on the back, I actually remembered to put one of my little stitch cards, my information cards. If you haven't seen that before, because I've only shown them once, I think, these are little postcards that I ordered from Vistaprint. And I uploaded a photo. I put from the needle of Sarah Elwood on the front, and on the back I have just some prompts for the information that I would want to record on the back of my stitch. So I've got the pattern name, the designer, the fabrics and threads, any notes that I want to put, and the stitching dates. So if this is something that you're interested in doing, I did just use the postcard printing facility on Vistaprint. If you were here when you saw the first reveal of these little cards, you'll know that I made a little error and left this in my, and didn't pick it up in my proofreading. I thought it was a little mark on the screen, didn't realize it was actually something there, like a piece of text. And I know that lots of you gave me suggestions for how to sort of combat that last time, like putting stickers over it or whatever, but I tried a few things, but I thought it actually just drew attention to the error. And you know, I'm not perfect, so I can live with my imperfect cards for now. But anyway, that is just to show you how to record, another option for recording some information on the back of your stitches. I do still need to go back round the walls of my house and make cards for all of the stitches that are hanging, but that is that's on the to-do list, which is getting longer daily. But anyway, okay, my next fully finish is very exciting because there are 5 of them. It's a set of fully finished pieces, and it is the Lizzy Kate strings that I stitched last year. So this one is spring string, which I thought I would finish this one first, given that spring is coming, and then I would be able to put it out on my spring display. But I got on so well, and that I was able to actually prepare the pieces for all of the 5 strings that I stitched. I stitched the 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn and winter, and then I stitched the Christmas one as well. So that's called Merry String. This one is called Spring String. The summer one is called Buzzy String. The autumn one is Thankful String, and the winter one is Snowy String, and then Merry String. So anyway, this is flat mounted, as you can see, and I put a mounting of some gingham fabric behind as well. Now normally when I mount, I will lace my stitched piece, but use sticky board and glue down the fabric backing piece. This week I decided to try gluing the stitched piece, and I did it for all 5, but I won't be doing it again. I do much prefer lacing, I have to say. I think I get a better result with lacing. Yeah, I like it. I think it would have been worth the extra 15 minutes that is all it would have taken me to lace. The extra 15 minutes was all it would have taken for me to lace this piece, but I didn't do it, and they're just kind of fun ornamental pieces, so I'm not going to get too excited about it. But for me, I did get a better finish by lacing, and I preferred it. I also just got very nervous putting glue near the stitching. To begin with, I think the lacing is actually more forgiving and allows you to manipulate, where the glue was drying and I discovered something wasn't quite straight, and that was just more scary to me. So anyway, I divert. Let me show you these. This is mounted on this little finishing piece, which I'm going to talk more about later in the video, so I'm not going to get into it too much now, but I did buy this from Etsy, from a store called Buy Mix Crafts, and I'll put a link to that down below. And as I said, I'll talk a little bit more about this later in the video. So that is the spring string. At the moment, it's held on here with 3 globs of white tack, like blue tack but white. I will be adding magnets and washers to this, but I have some on order. They aren't here yet, so it's fully finished. But I guess maybe I've just got to add magnets and washers to the back of my pieces, and but this is how it will look when when it is fully finished, and then I will be able to change out the various months. And let me show you the finishes for those. So that was spring. This one is Buzzy String, which is the summer piece. And then we have the autumn piece, which is Thankful String. You can see that I had fun with my ginghams. And then I have Snowy String. And finally, Merry String. So I'm really thrilled to get all 5 of those finished, bar the magnets and washers. And you can see on the back, they're not as well finished as some of the display pieces. If this were a singular display piece, I would put another piece of finished fabric on the back of here, but this is just going to get switched in and out onto the piece, like so. Let's see if I can, yeah, like so, see? So that is my fully finishing quota for a while. It feels good to have them finished, and it feels even better to know that I can start to display them around the house seasonally. So first of all, I have a finish to show you from the Love Notes pattern booklet by Brenda Gervais with Thigh Needle and Thread. This one you saw started. This is one of my starts for the Fun for 50 SAL 2024 that I'm doing with Sally at Flossy Sews and Grows. And we are doing 50 starts this year of our 50th birthday. This was already started last time that I was here, but I hadn't finished it. I needed to complete the cup. So I did the fill-in and the lettering when I was on the Across the Pond Zoom last weekend. So that is a finish of Cupid's Cup by Brenda Gervais. My next one is a start and finish. So this is start number 8 for the Fun for 50 SAL 2024. And this one is called Lovebirds, and it's from the same pattern book by Brenda Gervais, the Love Notes pattern collection. So you can see the little birds. They show up much better in real life than they do here. But this was a really sweet stitch. I enjoyed it very much. I love him. I love that little male bird with his hat, and he's delivering heart to his lady. So that was start number 8 for the 50 starts of this crazy year. And start number 9 is another start and finish. And it is from the Sweetheart Ornaments booklet by It's So Emma. And I stitched this one, which is called Key to My Heart. And here it is. There you go, Key to My Heart. I enjoyed stitching this very much. I think it was just really nice to start and finish something all in the one session. I did this all in the one day. So in terms of meeting the prompts that you guys have given us for our 50 starts, this one meets prompt number 51, which was given to us by Patty Miller. And Patty very graciously said that we should stitch something small for a bit of ease during this big challenge. So yes, you are absolutely right, Patty. Small is the way to go. So this was my something small. And it also fulfills prompt number 86, which is just something Valentine or candy themed, which Christina Simonillo suggested to us. And the same prompt from Christina obviously applies to the Be Mine Lovebirds pattern. So that's also the Valentine stitch. So that was a lot of fun stitching those 3 little Valentine pieces and having finishes. So that's 3 finishes out of the list of starts. Oops, wrong pattern. 3 finishes from the list of starts that Sally and I have for this year. Next, I'm going to share my whips, and the first one that I'm sharing is my daily thread stitch. You know the drill by now. It's the dimensions kit for the Oh Holy Night Advent calendar, and I am stitching 1 thread a day. So every day that I stitch, I start with this. It's like a warm-up exercise. I take 1 length of thread, threading my needle once, whatever length that is for the project, thread the needle once and work on it. I have been working in the back stitch of this manger scene pretty much the whole time for the last couple of weeks since I last saw you. And I've also done back stitch on the stars and outline of the top border piece. So let me show you what it looks like now. What do you think? I think it's lovely. I'm so pleased to be finished the back stitch, not because it was awful, but just because it looks great. It looks great. I'm finished with the back stitch in the manger scene, so unless I've accidentally missed something out, that is all finished. And actually the yellow long stitches for the hay look much better on screen than they do in real life. So yes, the manger scene is completely outlined now. And I then moved up and outlined the stars that I've stitched in that border for the night sky, and also then worked on outlining the border itself. So there's a little more work to do on this side of the border. I've got to come down and finish outlining that inner bit, and then there's another line on the other side of that pale blue border that goes up here and then across and down there. So it's like an inner outline of the pale blue border. So once that is done, then I'll be able to scroll up and I'll work at bringing the starry border down both sides. So it is progressing, it is. I realise you've seen this an awful lot of times, but it is progressing, and it's getting quite exciting now to see it hopefully coming to a conclusion in this year. So it should do, it really should. There will be quite a bit of work putting this one together, as in finishing it, but that's for another conversation. So that is my progress on Oh Holy Night Advent Calendar. I need to go weight training because it's so heavy lifting that, holding that up. The next whip that I have to share with you is in my beautiful 50 patchwork project bag from Ros Clarke, and this is Ros's design. It is her Celebration of Colour SAL, and we're filling in, this time we were filling in yellow orange, so it's this colour here on the wheel. We're filling that in. We did a little more black outlining, and we did a little more of the yellow framework basically. So I'm really enjoying this SAL much more than I would if you showed me this end piece and told me how much I would enjoy stitching it. But Ros is making it so interesting. She's putting a lot of work into this for us, which I really appreciate. And she's making it so interesting, talking about colour, talking about things that I don't know, you know, didn't have a massive interest in, but sometimes I wonder if someone had taught us some of these things at school, would we be more interested in art? I have to say my art teaching was, you know, I didn't find it was brilliant. So, but I think things have probably changed since the day when they brought you into art class and said, draw this with actually no teaching. you know, nobody taught me about colour, nobody taught me how to hold a brush or use a brush or move a brush or a pencil or any of those things. So it was just kind of like, here's this, do that, you know, that's not teaching. Anyhow, this is Ros's celebration of colour SAL, and I think that might have been part 7, or I've lost track of the number, but we are now moving on to yellow, and I'm really excited now to see where this goes, because once we finish yellow, we're going to move round into the greens and the blues and the cooler colours, I guess. And in my head, this is a hot project, you know, this is a hot colours. All of the colours so far, with the exception of the black, obviously, are the hot colours, your kind of summer colours, and particularly in the palette that I have chosen, and my colours there, they are, you know, like a hot border in your garden or whatever. So it will be interesting to see how the look of this changes as we add in the cooler colours, and it's going to be interesting that, because in my head this is a hot project. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but anyway, it makes sense to me. Okay, that is Celebration of Colour SAL. My other SAL that I have been doing is the Gilmorisms SAL by Forbidden Fibre Co. And we're now on part 7, which I haven't quite finished, but I was working on it over the weekend. I'm a big fat flincher. I need to catch up on the episodes that this is from. I have forgotten. I guess what I would say about this SAL is that the releases, the little releases, the sayings, the quotes, whatever it is, they're perhaps slightly more obscure and for the diehard fan in a sense, but I do love them, and they are reminding me to go keep watching. I'm rewatching the series, and I'm enjoying finding those sayings or references that maybe I had forgotten or hadn't quite picked up on. I mean, some of them I have, you know, most of them till now I have, but I had forgotten about I'm a big fat flincher, so I'm looking forward to that. I am enjoying it. This one is quite big, so I just have this sort of deeper yellow to fill in around the framework of that, and I will work at that. The next part is released tomorrow, will probably be this part, I think. As you can see, I haven't finished the framework for it. I think this one is going to fall behind now, just because I've got so many other things coming along, and I think it will fall behind, but I don't want to not touch it at all. So I think probably going forward, what I will do is progress the framing, the frameworks. And if I put all of those in now and just collect the pattern releases, then at some point I can come back and fill them in. But I think once this one is finished, that I will just work on putting in the rest of the framework. And here is the rest of that framework. And then I can go back in my own time, as it were, and fill in the little pattern releases. So, you know what they say, something's got to give when you get busy. And this one I think will be what gives, just for now, just for a little bit. As I said, I do want to pick it up and keep progressing the framework and the border. But yes, I might not be keeping up exactly with the weekly releases from here on in. But I think I've done really well to get this far, especially as this was a start at the very end of 2023, when I had no business starting anything else new, given that 50 new starts were coming my way. So yeah, not the most sensible decision, but I have been really enjoying it and will continue to enjoy it, just not at the pace of the SAL itself. Okay, that is all of my SALs, and I have one more whip to share with you. This, I apologise because I didn't get to iron it, but this is For Thee. I'm going to insert a picture here by Leelas Studio. It was one of my earlier starts on the Fun for 50 2024 SAL. Fun for 50 SAL 2024. I keep getting that mixed up. Fun for 50 SAL 2024. And it is by Leelas Studio. This is the one that I'm doing in all different shades of reds. Thank you to a viewer prompt. I absolutely love doing this. It is so much fun to pull different reds for all of the different elements in this piece. So since I last shared it with you, I have finished these 5 stars down at the bottom and added in this rose and started up here on this little heart. So this is one that I've kind of brought over into my Sweet 16 whips so that it will get some attention. I just, when I pick my needle up to stitch this pattern, I am a very happy woman, very happy. So I absolutely love it. Here there are some initials missing because I haven't quite decided what to do. Not whose initials to put in, but what to do with them. And there will be a space over this side for other initials as well. So that is my progress for the happy stitching in this one. I have happy stitching in all of them, but this one is just particularly wonderful right now. Okay, that is all of my current work, my current stitching. So let me talk a little bit more about what is coming up in my next starts in the Fun for 50 2024 SAL. Nope, in the Fun for 50 SAL 2024. You'd think I could have made an easier hashtag. Anyway, okay, so my next starts, I've shared these with you. These are the remaining 2 February starts. Tomorrow will be the release of the first part of All Things Grow with Love SAL from Historical Sampler Company. These are the magnificent, glorious threads. Look at those threads. And as I said, the first part will be releasing tomorrow. So that will be my next start. I believe that will be start 10. And at start 10, that puts me at 20% of the way through these starts, these 50 starts. Sally has already made it there. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sally has already made it to her 20%, and it's really hard to believe that we're at that stage already. There's still huge amounts ahead for us, but we are making progress. So this will be my number 10 start, and that will be tomorrow. And then my final start for February will be the Heart in Hand pattern, Big Hearted Tiny Town. So there's Big Hearted Tiny Town. And I'm going to stitch this on a lovely pink fabric. So those are the next 2 starts, and I had already shared those with you before. If you feel like joining in with either of those starts, then please do. Make sure that you use the hashtag if you're posting your pictures on Instagram, although the most important thing to do is to actually tag me, Sew Me Sarah, and Sally, Flossie Sews and Grows. Tag us individually, because quite frankly, folks, the hashtags are awful. They're just, it's really upsetting me because they worked so beautifully before and Instagram have just ruined them. But anyway, please tag Sally and I in your pictures, in your photos, if you are sharing on Instagram any of the things that you are starting. Now, just as a reminder, you can start anything you like. You don't have to start exactly what we are starting for this SAL. Sally and I just want to encourage you to stitch, to have fun, raise your needle in celebration of our 50th year, put the hashtag on for what it's worth, and then tag us in your pictures and say, hey, I'm stitching along with you. Happy birthday year, girls. Whatever it is that you want to share with us. You can start one of those stitches that we are doing if you really would like to. And I know that some of you want to know what's coming up. What are we stitching? What's going to be for the rest of the year? Now, the reason that I haven't shared my full list is because that list keeps changing. So I do have a list here. This is page 1, and then there's a page 2. I do have a list planned out, but so far I've got 9 starts, and I have to say that they are not all what I thought I was going to do. So the list evolves. It evolves as we listen to Flosstubes, as a pattern comes up, as as the wind blows, whatever it is. There are reasons why our lists change. Now, I stick with most of what I want to do, but I would hate to put my list out there and that one project that you say, oh yeah, I'm going to stitch that with Sarah and Sally, and then suddenly I change the project, or I decide that I'm not going to stitch that one because there's another SAL and I want to add that in, or whatever it might be. So I don't want to disappoint you by doing that, by putting a list out there and then not sticking to it. So that is the reason why there is no full list available to you at this point. There is a full list of the prompts that we had from you viewers. I think we had 80 something, so I have that list here printed out, and yes, there were 84 of those. So here is the list. Okay. So that list is all numbered, and when I am talking about my starts and I say this start satisfied prompt number 27, that's where I'm getting the number 27 from. It's coming from this list. Okay, this list is available to you in the information in my drop down box below. I have put a link to the Google document, so you will be able to go there and see that list. If you would like to do a start based on one of the prompts, that's another good way for you to engage in our SAL this year. So you might also decide that you want to stitch something with an owl or wisdom. That's one of the prompts, prompt number 10, something related to an owl or wisdom. So you could stitch that for us for our SAL. So there are lots of ways to join in. That document is available as a Google Doc in the drop down below. But no, I haven't put a list of our actual starts because it's ever changing. However, what Sally and I are both doing is we are announcing on our Flosstubes in the middle of this month what we're going to be stitching next month. So today I'm going to share with you the starts that I have planned for March. They are decided and they will happen. I'm not going to be changing those now. So that's okay. I'm able to commit to that. And from time to time now, I will also share with you another pattern that is going to be part of the starts down the line. So something else that I won't change my mind about, okay? So that is, I think, the best thing to do rather than disappoint you by changing what the plan is. And as I said, the plans do change. So one of the ways that you can find out a little bit more rather than having to watch the video back, let's say you watch on Monday and on Wednesday you want to remember what I said we were doing, you don't have to watch back. You can go to the show notes. So in my show notes, if you scroll down, so my regular show notes will have shared links to the projects that I've shown you in my finishes and my whips. A little bit, probably halfway down now, there is the hashtag Fun450 SAL 2024. There you will find the link to the prompts document, the Google document. And then below that, there is a list of the projects that I've already started. So I've numbered them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Everything I've started so far. And then it says coming up. And I will list the projects that I am sure are coming next. So, or coming up at some point in the SAL, in the year. So today I will have in those notes the 4 projects that I'm going to show you for my March starts, and the one sneak peek that I'm showing you of something that's coming further down the line. Oh yes, the other thing I wanted to say is that they don't all have links to patterns. So I do try always, if I've shown something in my regular floss tubes, I will try to provide a link for you to find the pattern. I am running out of character allowance basically because I've added in these extra sections about the 50 starts. So I can't always provide the links. The links take up a lot of characters, but I will provide the name of the chart and the designer name where I can. And they shouldn't be too difficult for you then to Google or find at your LNS or your online shops as well. So I hope that that all makes sense. Basically, halfway down the show notes, you will find information about this SAL of 50 starts. There will be the link to the prompts list. There will be my list of the things I have already started, and then I will have coming up, and those will be the things, probably 5 or 6 patterns that are coming up soon, okay? And that means if you want to have a look, or you want to join in, you want to prepare, you want to plan your own stitching and purchasing, then that's where you can do that. Hope that all made sense. Sorry if I belabored the point. Okay, now let me show you what I'm going to be stitching in March. It's very exciting to have new stitches to share. Somebody has just come home and wants to say hi to everybody.
Hi everybody. Oh, hi everybody.
And where did you go today?
To the park.
You went to the park?
Yes, I saw boys.
You saw boys? Were you playing with the boys?
Nope. I tell a story about Dougie's very sick.
No, we're not going to tell a story about Dougie's feeling sick. Where did you go after the park?
Coffee shop. I stayed at Daddy's scones.
Oh, you went to the coffee shop and you stole Daddy's scones? You are a rascal. Okay.
Bye everyone.
Bye everyone.
You coming, Caty?
A little interlude from Miss Charlotte. Okay, let me share with you the 4 stitches that are planned for March stitching. I'm going to insert a picture here of Positivity Rules. This is another pattern by Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and this will be my first start in March. I want to stitch this one as a gift for someone, which is why I'm trying to get it started and then finished by the end of June. This is kind of like a sister pattern to Positivity Lifts, the framed one that I showed you at the beginning. And again, it's full of beautiful colours and I'm really looking forward to stitching that. So if you bought the Positivity Rules kit, perhaps back at the time when it first released, from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and you haven't stitched it yet, maybe you'd like to join me. The next start for March will be, I'm just watching as a potential avalanche is happening over the side. Okay, the next start from March will be the Peacock Tree. And this one is for Carmen's Jacob's Sleeper SAL, which is starting at the beginning of March. But she is starting herself on the 10th of March. So I think this, if I make this my second start for March, that will be around the 11th. And I am going to stitch the Peacock Tree, which you guys very kindly chose for me. And look, here is my beautiful floss. This is Weeks Dye Works Peacoat. I don't think you can see this colour well enough. I wish you could. It's a really, really dark peacock blue-green colour. And I think it's going to be fabulous. I was getting worried that it wasn't coming on time, but it arrived yesterday. So that is ready for my second March start. And then Sally and I are both going to start on the 15th of March. We are going to start 10 Merry Sailors and Their Loyal Dog. This was released for Stitch in London 2023 in October. This was our retreat piece. You can purchase it now from the Modern Folk Embroidery website. It doesn't say Stitch in London on the piece that you would purchase, on the pattern that you would purchase. But if you like this style and you want to stitch this one along with us, then please do. This is something that Sally and I are both going to start in honour of our friend and fellow floss tuber, Sherry at Just So Sherry, who is also a 1974 baby and has a birthday mid-month in March. So This will be in honor of Sherry, and Sally and I will be starting this one together. And then my final plan for March, my final start, is something that has been, well, it looks like it's literally been kicking around in my stash for a long time because the pattern is so beaten up. But, but this has been in my stash for a long time, and I always mean to stitch it and never do. So I deliberately brought it and put it into the 50 starts plan. And this is Pride and Prejudice by Stitchrovia. And it's that quote, "You have bewitched me, body and soul," from Pride and Prejudice. So I'm really looking forward to this. I love Stitchrovia and what she can do with fonts. Really love it. So those are my March plans. One more little sneak peek of starts is Hands-On Designs Stitch Some Happy. I'm going to be starting this one at some stage during the 50 starts. So if you have this in your stash, you could join me. I loved this when I saw it. I just think it is happy. And of course, you know, at the end of the video, I all tell you to stitch happy. So this just resonates with me. So Stitch Some Happy is a stitch that will be coming up for me in this year. Not too far away, not probably April sometime. But that is a sneak peek that you're getting today of something a little bit further out than March. So you can see that there's lots of plans because obviously we've still got lots of starts. In my other plans, I am aware that my whips, my existing whips, are being neglected a little bit simply because there just isn't time. So I have to be realistic. I am not Wonder Woman or Superwoman. I would love to be, but I'm not. So I just want to ask you to forgive me if there's a stitch that you have been following and you were hoping to see some progress on that I haven't shown for a while. I don't know when I'm going to get back to some of those. It might not even be this year, but I am going to try to keep bringing them in as I can. And if you'll just bear with me, you will see them eventually. But like I say, I'm noticing now as we're getting more and more starts under our belts, if you like, that it is harder to keep up with all the pre-existing whips. So anyway, they will come, they will come. I love them all and I am going to stitch them all, but whether or not that's 2024's work efforts, I don't know. Okay, let me tell you about a new floss tuber that I discovered this week, and I discovered her through Sally at Flossie Sews and Grows. So on Sally's latest video, she mentioned Amy, who is recording over at Renewing Stitches. That is the name of her Flosstube channel, Renewing Stitches. So I popped over, I thought I'll have a look, and I think a lot of you guys would really like Amy too. When you comment and leave your lovely comments and very kind comments on my channel, many of you talk about my soothing voice and how you just love to listen to that and how it's very calming and relaxing. Well, Amy is another person just like that. She is so calming and relaxing that you could fall asleep in the nicest and most complimentary way. I mean that. But yes, she is lovely, calming, beautiful voice, lovely even tone, and her stitching is gorgeous. Her Renewing Stitches title is, channel name, is because she loves to do vintage stitches. So lots of magazine stitches and things like that from the 80s and 90s. She has a real passion for those, but she stitches lots of other things too. So please go over there and show her some love. She has a fairly new channel, but she has about 8 or 9 videos out now. I think she's recording weekly, that's why she has so many, but I think she just started like just before the new year. So please go over and watch her, and if you like what you see there, then subscribe and boost her numbers a little bit, because I think she is a channel that deserves to be seen more. So thank you, Sally, for the recommendation. I really enjoyed my time on Amy's channel. I started with her introduction video and then I followed through, so I'm not even up to date yet, but I'm getting there. I think I'm on video 5 now, so a little bit more watching this afternoon perhaps. Okay, a quick get connected this week. I didn't see so many new things happening that I haven't maybe already told you about, but I did see that Chris the Camping Stitcher is going to be doing a leap year SAL. Now, I think there are maybe a couple of different leap year SALs out and about there at the moment, and I'm not entirely sure who is doing the other one. But Chris's leap year SAL is hashtagged Leap Year 2024 SAL. You will find more information about it on her Instagram channel and on her YouTube channel. She is the Camping Stitcher. And it looks to me like she is choosing a project to start on the 29th, and then she is hoping to finish that project by the end of February 2025. So her leap year SAL is for just the full year from the 29th of February this year till the 28th of February next year. The other leap year SAL that I have heard a lot about, but I keep forgetting to write down who is hosting that and what the hashtag is, but I'm sure you could find it if you Googled it, if it's of interest to you. So the other one, it might be Leap Day SAL actually. The other one is to start a project on the 29th and to stitch on that project every 29th of every month. So the 29th of March and April and May, and you do that for the next 4 years. And the aim is to finish your project by the next leap year. So 2028. So those are 2 options for you. I'm sorry I don't have the exact details. If I can find a hashtag for the other one, I will pop it down below as well for you with any information that I can find about who to go and watch to learn a little bit more. But I'm sure if you Google things, you will be able to find those yourself if you are interested in making connection that way. Okay, one special thing. This is where I want to come back to talking about the mounting piece that I have for these Lizzy Kate strings. Let me move over a little bit so that I can see. I'm not just talking to the back of the board. So the one special thing that I want to highlight this week is probably more relevant to us in the UK. And that special thing is the company that make this mount board. I came across this on the Floss Friends in Facebook page. Sammy from Little Loop Stitching had posted it, and she said that she had been in touch with a maker in Norfolk and had discussed with him making this kind of a frame or this kind of a mount for the tiny town stitches. So she had a chat with him, I don't know how, but probably a few emails back and forward, and he agreed to make this and she got it, and I thought that is really lovely. I'm gonna give it a go, because here in the UK we don't have access to the likes of Chantel at 141 Designs or Paisley and Polka Dots, where you can get all those beautiful cutouts, laser cut MDF or wood products that are so helpful and so currently trending in our finishing cross stitch. So we don't have access to those without paying exorbitant postage. So it was really, really nice to see whenever Sammy posted this, that there is someone in the UK who is doing it. And the nice thing about this one is I don't have to paint it. I did have to build it, if you like, but it comes sort of already painted or covered. There's like some kind of laminate on the board. So let me show you. I think it was about £10 and then £3 postage and packaging. So just to let you know that it's, it's not it's not out of reach in terms of the cost either. And as you can see, I bought it thinking of Big Hearted Tidy Town, which I'm going to start. But when it came, I thought, I wonder would it fit my Lizzy Kate strings? And so I have repurposed it for that. But I did buy another one. So I am keeping one in stock for the houses, the tiny towns. Okay. So let me show you. When I made my second order, I ordered just a couple of other little things to see what they would be like as well. But this is how it comes. And it's from an Etsy shop, as I mentioned earlier, called By Mix Crafts. I will link that below for you. It comes, as I said, you don't have to paint it. It's already there. You don't have to do very much. It's not tricky to put together, okay? So it comes as a base piece, and there are 4 little feet. You have to glue the 4 little feet in, okay? Now I probably should glue my actual piece into this, but I haven't done that yet. Then to make this piece, you have a backing, 2 little pieces of like this beading, and then there are 2 pieces on the top, okay? So the first piece slots in, just has some slots in it, just like this, okay? And then this piece is decoratively covering that look, basically. You don't want to see that, so this piece is decoratively covering that. So it's just a matter of applying some glue. If I applied mine with a brush so that it, you know, didn't glob everywhere, and I do have a few little bits that I want to tidy up, but you know, first effort, I'm really pleased with. It was very simple and straightforward. And then of course it just slots in, and I should glue this final one, but I wanted to show you. So it comes, as I said, it comes flat packed, well wrapped, and it isn't difficult to do, and you don't have to paint it, so that is nice. So I will put the links for that. I think it's really good that we have somewhere to go. The rest of the site, it's an Etsy shop, okay? And the rest of the Etsy shop has other kind of laser cut wood products. They are not specifically designed for cross stitch, but there are some there that I think we definitely could use as cross stitchers. So I ordered a little set of tags. These were only a few pounds, not very much. They're not very big. I wasn't quite sure how big they would be because I didn't take time to read the description. But I think these would be lovely for, you know, like little individual advent calendar pieces for making little tag Christmas decorations or Valentine pieces or whatever. So these ones are not painted, so you could paint them or leave them raw if you like. And they were available, I ordered 8. I think you could order them in sets of 4, but I ordered 8 of them because they weren't very expensive. So that's that. And then I just ordered this very plain little cutout. It's about the size of a postcard, about 4 by 6 roughly. And it has 2 little feet for standing it up on. So I thought that might make a nice little mount at some stage. And I like the fact that it sits up. You know, you've got the feet there for it to sit up. Again, this one is unpainted, but I just wanted to show you a couple of other projects that are, a couple of other pieces that are possible for us to use for our cross-stitch projects. There were some Christmas bauble shapes and other things, but these were the ones I thought I might be able to make some use of. So I wanted to share that with you as my one special thing for this week, because as I said, we don't have the same access to things here in the UK that you guys do in the US or elsewhere. We can access them if we can afford the postage, but sometimes the postage is 4 or 5 times the amount of the actual product. Anyhow, that is one special thing by Mix Crafts on Etsy here in the UK. I hope that you enjoy that, and if you are interested, that you'll pop over there and have a little look at what they have to offer. I think that's about it. There is stuff on the floor, on the table, on the chairs. I have a chair either side of me, incoming and outgoing, like an in-train and out-train. It's a mess in here. I need to really sort it out, and as you could see, my family have arrived home, so there will be a demand for the rest of the kitchen to be used to make lunch in just a moment. So it is time to go. I will be back with you hopefully in 2 weeks, showing more progress, more starts, all the things, hopefully a little bit more of my quilting, my patchwork block making, and whatever else happens in the meantime. So I hope that you are all enjoying your stitching and that you will all be able to stay well and stitch happy. Bye.